And then back from here, when our animals die out, it's just like a human being. We don't say their name no more. Yep. But with the MURRDAKURLI, we still speak his name.
Well, I was approached by Regina via Facebook and the group, Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia. Her family's been in the Flinders Ranges for 40,000 plus years. They have a lot of history with the animal through their culture, through their storytelling and through their cultural practices as well. They actually have some very recent sightings as well, and it's not just Regina, it's her daughter, her granddaughter. Only 2 weeks ago there was a sighting. They've had some really interesting sightings where there was 3 or 4 of them at the same place at the same time, and they all saw the same thing.
My first sighting was when I was 5, seeing a MURRDAKURLI. Like, we've seen them off and on in between, but the one that was really, really clear, and I knew what it was back down on the Urrumbula Range. And myself, my daughter and my mother went out and we saw 2 MURRDAKURLIs. And they weren't far from us. They would have been about 10, 20 metres. And that was during the daytime, 1:30 in the afternoon. Took my mother out, because my mother was in her 90s, so I took her out. I had to take her out for like a little picnic. We set up the table, and then I said, I'm going to go up the rocks and take some photos up on the rock. And my daughter had the camera, and as we was walking up, we heard sounds. The sound that we all know and connect to a MURRDAKURLI. Okay. And my daughter actually got scared because there were stories about MURRDAKURLIs taking children, as the stories tells. Yeah. And she started getting scared. She said, Mum, that's a MURRDAKURLI. I was like, yeah. I said, we'll just go for a walk. And then all of a sudden up on the rock, there was a MURRDAKURLI. It was standing there, it was clear as day. Yeah. The second one jumped up next to it, on this rock next to it. But when it jumped from one rock to the next, to stand next to its mate, it hopped.
Like a kangaroo.
Yep, it leaned back on its back foot and its tail, and it launched itself, like hopped. Yep. And it was only when the other one yawned, and my daughter saw the nice big choppers that it had, she ran. She panicked and ran with the camera.
With the camera?
Yeah. And like by the time I got back down to the car, her and Mum already packed up the table and the picnic, and they've had it in the car. And my mum, being my mum, she goes, "You're not taking my granddaughter back up there where the MURRDAKURLIs are." The geese were going crazy, and so were the dogs. And I was like, oh no. I thought there was another dog harassing the geese, because we've actually lost 2 geese. I went outside and opened the door and went out, and all of a sudden, a MURRDAKURLI is standing there, but there's like, as you can see into the grass that I showed you, yeah. When it froze, if I didn't know that it was there, and I came out and it froze before I came out, I wouldn't have never saw it. Yeah. But I saw it when it was moving, and when it stopped, it blended into the grass very easy. They're good hiders.
What it means, he's trotting along, he's running and the song's running, and he's happy as he goes along. He's happy to be in the land, and he's running and he's happy. These things still must exist here. In places, they're very quick, they're very sharp.
He doesn't like me saying it, but I think my big brother's a legend. I'm very proud of him. The songs and stuff that Ken sings is the songs that my father sung to us. They've been handed down. What I'm really proud of is that my daughter, she's got the songs as well. She passes it down to her children as well.
They've had a living culture with Australian wildlife for, like I said, 40,000 plus years, and they have got an intricate knowledge of the different wildlife in the area, both past and present, and their knowledge and their understanding of the way thylacines work through the country and the different routes that they take on their migration is priceless.
And me and my dad used to come up and walk up here with us, and he used to tell us the stories about the land in the hills in the country. My father was what you call a Williram, and he was a Adnyamathanha. He was a big man in the culture here. Yeah, they'd collect, but they'd dance around in this area. There's dance grounds back up in this area as well. Okay. Where they used to do the dance for the MURRDAKURLIs. But the MURRDAKURLIs, wasn't just here in this area. it moved up through. Like all storylines, everything is sacred, but there's always that storyline for the children, because our culture is about education. We had to educate our children in the stories, and they'd go through and they'd learn all the different stories when they were little, and then as you get older you learn the different types of stories. Same story but more in depth.
Yep.
And the story that I'm talking about is this child's story. When they lived in this area, that was when there was no inland sea, it was all tropical country. Okay. Like rainforest. This is how old the story is. It was when everything was a rainforest. The black MURRDAKURLI, which is the largest of all the MURRDAKURLIs. See, in our culture we knew that there was 6 subspecies of thylacines. Yep. There's a really big one, and there's the one that we all know of today, which everybody knows as the Tassie tiger. Yep. He was the middle one. When they talk about it, the MURRDAKURLI in this story they represent, you know where you find the ochre? That represents their blood. And if you go further up to Para, which is Vukotu, that's the blood of the black MURRDAKURLI. So she was the largest of the MURRDAKURLIs. The old man was down there with his son, and he wanted to go hunting kangaroo, and he told his son not to go to the water hole, and he said because there's MURRDAKURLIs. And the son stayed in the camp for a while, but he disobeyed his father. When his father went out looking for kangaroo, it got hot, and he thought he wouldn't know if I went to the spring, so he went up into the spring, and what happened, he swam around, and then as he got out and he sunned himself, that's when the black MURRDAKURLI grabbed him and killed him. Okay. And the old father came back and he actually found the son, and he was crying, and when he was crying, he heard a voice behind him saying, "Nanga, how are you? Hello. What are you crying for?" And he turned around and he seen a lizard, a blue lizard that we know as the Adnyamathanha. And this lizard had an air belt. And in his air belt he had all the boomerangs. He told the Adnyamathanha, "Oh, he's my only son." Adnyamathanha thought, he felt so sorry for this old man. He said, "I'll go and kill the MURRDAKURLIs and I'll bring the little boy's spirit back." So that's when he started on his quest. He come up this way and he found the first lot of MURRDAKURLIs there, killed them. Then he went down and he waited for the black one. But his brother, the Cadney, and that's the bearded dragon, he came to visit his little brother. He came here and he seen the MURRDAKURLIs dead, and he's like, why? He was doing this and he's seen his brother's track, and he followed him back down to Para. When he followed him to Para, he found him and he goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Shh, I'm waiting for the black MURRDAKURLI, I'm waiting for the black MURRDAKURLI." And he goes, "But you can't kill the black MURRDAKURLI. If you kill her, the sun will go out." And he was so intent on waiting for this black MURRDAKURLI, he didn't hear what his brother said. So when the black MURRDAKURLI put her head out, he dropped her with the boomerangs. As soon as her head and blood hit the ground, the sun went out. He says to his brother, "Give me your boomerangs." And he gets the boomerangs and he throws it north, he throws it west, then he throws it south, and then he throws it east. When he threw it east, a little tiny bit of sun come up. And he continued doing this pattern for a very long time, and he got really tired, and then he started losing boomerangs as well. And he got down to the last boomerang and he's thinking, I've got to get the sun up. And he thought, I want to throw it east to come up a little bit. So he threw it northeast. When he done that there, that's when the sun come up. He said to his brother, "Look," he said, "that little boy, he was in the wrong, not the MURRDAKURLIs. He shouldn't have disobeyed his father. He would never have been eaten if he listened to his father."
And this is a song just to sing about him when he's a child. MURRDAKURLI maka vaji vaji danguka maka MURRDAKURLI vaji vaji danguka maka ilaga vaji vaji danguka maka MURRDAKURLI maka vaji vaji danguka maka MURRDAKURLI maka